everyone, and welcome to this video on the new moon in Libra, which happens on the 9th of October at 4:46 in the morning, and that's based on UK time, which is British summertime. So a new moon is when the sun and the moon conjunct. The moon is totally black and it recharges itself for its next monthly cycle. So it's pulling energy in. In this case, it's pulling Libra energy in. Libra is an air sign. It's about connecting. If you look at the glyph of Libra, it's like a bridge with a speed bump in it. It's able to overcome obstacles so that it can connect despite blocks being in the way. Libra is able to build bridges where there never have been any. Libra is charming and beautiful and glorious and can be very enchanting and marvelous, and really will be able to draw people to itself and create a beautiful, fair and harmonious environment for everyone involved. So it's very much about balance. Now, what's interesting is that Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is in retrograde at the moment, and it's in retrograde in Scorpio at 10 degrees on this day. So with Venus being in Scorpio, your feelings are at times altered. You see yourself in a different light. Mercury is sitting next to the new moon at 28 degrees in Libra. So there's going to be a great sense of communication and thinking and going back and forth and who am I, and is this the person I want to be, and is this how I want to be perceived, and how do I feel about myself? You know, I thought I was it for, you know, the last 2 years, and now suddenly I feel washed up. I feel like nothing's going my way. I feel like I've lost my gift, my talent, and I'm going to be out on the streets in a couple of weeks. This new moon gives you a Libra that's been twisted by its ruler, Venus, in retrograde. So imagine Venus in retrograde as the planet of love and beauty after a Romeo and Juliet experience, okay? She's just woken up from the temporary poison. She looks down, she sees Romeo there, he's dead, she's in grieving. So it's love, that's kind of Venus in retrograde, okay? It's love gone wrong. So the new moon forms a grand cross in the sky, which is a big red square, and that in itself is also another indicator that there's a lot of friction involved here. So it connects with the North Node at 2 degrees in Leo, Uranus and Taurus at 1 degree, and the South Node at 2 degrees in Aries with the new moon in Libra. So on this day, you'll want to make things right with other people while not apologizing or taking a step down or minimizing yourself for the sake of the other person. You'll want to take charge and take leadership while also wanting to smooth things over and keep everyone happy, and you really want to teach people something for the greater good. So if you think you can do all of that in one day, you're deluded. Because if, let's say you're the boss's son, and it's your first day, you go in and you say, I am going to make these people love me, and I'm going to make this factory so efficient like it's never been. The people who've worked there for 30 years for minimum wage and who have injuries in their thumbs because they've been doing repetitive things every day for 30 years, they look at you and they think, yeah, good luck. So it's kind of you're setting yourself up for failure if you think you're going to please all the people all the time and also lead them and keep everyone happy and be popular and do things the way you want. It just doesn't all go together. Yes, you can say what you want, but then expect some criticism. People have the right to respond. If you want to be the boss, then be the boss and say, okay, we're doing this and we're all working extra shifts before Christmas. But don't expect them to love you. You know, they're going to be annoyed because they have to work extra in December. So that's the first thing you need to give up today. So don't give up chain smoking, give up the desire to please people all the time and to keep everyone happy. You can't do it today. It's not possible. Now, the moon connects with a couple of other things. It connects with the south node in Aquarius, like I mentioned, but what's sitting on top of that south node is Black Moon, Lilith, and Mars in Aquarius. And again, because we have this twisted Venus retrograde, there's a desire to help people and to teach people something, but it isn't really. It's a desire to put yourself in the spotlight and to be seen. What's much better on this day is if you just calm down a bit in terms of other people and what you're doing and what other people perceive you as, and you actually spend some time asking yourself, what gives me a sense of pleasure, and what makes me happy, and what makes me feel like I've got hope in my life. If you ask that, it's much more likely that you'll get an answer that's not poisoned via Venus retrograde, but that's new and different, and that's an alternative, and that's something that you may have never considered before. So every retrograde gives us an opportunity to learn something, because you will have fallen out of love with certain things with this retrograde happening. Look for what it is you do love. And just because you find it during the retrograde doesn't mean it's faulty, but it can be something that you fall back on during retrogrades. You know, maybe you just play backgammon during Venus retrogrades because you love it then and at no other time, who knows. Venus retrograde affects people usually in either they lack the perspective in seeing their part in it. You know, in a relationship, it was all you and, well, you never paid attention to me, or you never helped in the household or whatever, and the other person can totally not see that and be on a totally different wavelength. So it's just one of those things you have to ride out, and it gives you wisdom that sometimes, even if you try your best, and that sometimes when you're hearing the things you want to hear, they're not really true. They're just someone promising you things that never materialize. Venus and Saturn, Jupiter are close to each other, but they're 13 degrees apart, so they don't conjunct each other. So good luck is not affected by this. Saturn and Pluto also next to each other, but so far apart they don't connect really. But there is an opportunity to continue working and to build new bridges, and to also build a bridge with a power greater than yourself. You know, if you've fallen out of love with something, try meditation during this time. Try something new. Try different types of meditation. There are lots out there. There's transcendental meditation, mindfulness, Zen meditation, Buddhist meditation. There's lots and lots of different types. There are lots of different types of meditation. Try different ones, because if you discover a meditation technique that works for you, that makes you feel good and relaxed, that is really going to help you find personal freedom in future, especially the things that you want, which are going to make you feel happy and that are fun. Neptune is at 14 degrees in Pisces. Great. It says if you listen to your feelings, you will achieve freedom. So does that Mercury. If you communicate, you will achieve emotional freedom. But neither of those are really true. If you just blast your worries and your fears out to the world, some people will sympathize, but other people will try and use it against you. It's much better to really just have one trusted person with you today, and to not expect to feel completely contented and totally emotionally at peace. We can't be happy every day. Past relationship things may come up where you tried to help someone and you really got screwed over. Like, you chose a partner and you thought, if I love him enough, I can fix him or her. And maybe even during this time, one of those relationships comes to a head and you start to realize, do you know what? It doesn't matter what I do. This woman is never going to change her behavior, no matter how often she tells me she will. And at some point, I'm going to have to make the decision to either continue to overcome this speed bump in our bridge or to cut ties. And that's the other side of Libra that is very good, because Libra can build bridges and can connect with everyone. But it can also end relationships. So it's very balanced in that sense, and a lot of the other signs struggle with that, like Cancers and Scorpios and Virgos and Tauruses. They can start relationships, but ending them, not so easy all the time. So there may be some regret about a past relationship as well. Uranus is at 1 degree in Taurus, and that's saying shake up your existing life landscape and just take action, just do things differently, make a change. And it's telling you to make a change in everything, all things in your life right now, and it's just overwhelming, and it's just like, oh, and it's just like, how do I find the balance in my life? That's the key thing here. And the balance connects in a positive way with Neptune and Mars in Aquarius. Okay. So for certain people, this is a matter of grounding yourself and healing the mind through sports and exercise and being in your body, especially the men, I feel. And for the women, I think the way through this is to really, really get in touch with yourself, to really meditate and connect, and to really differentiate between the negative ego stuff that comes through and the positive higher self-knowledge. This is an opportunity for people who think they know the difference between the ego voice and the higher self's voice. If you think you know the difference, this retrograde is a great chance to test that assumption that you've got about yourself, because it becomes very murky. You know, love is difficult enough, but when Venus is in retrograde, it's like walking into one of those theme park House of Mirror things. You know, you don't see things as they really are, and something that seems so weird and glorious and amazing afterwards is just like, why? What was I doing? The lesson is to find balance through meditation, so that when you can't trust your feelings or your mind or your body, whatever comes up, because in future we're always going to have Venus retrogrades, and we're going to have Mercury retrogrades, and we're going to have Mars retrogrades. The key is to come through these things with as much balance as possible. And if you meditate, not only are you going to find balance in yourself, but you'll have the freedom to really express yourself without censoring yourself, because you have an inner balance now that no one can buy. It can only be learned through experience and doing the inner emotional work. So now you can be controversial. You don't need to be afraid to speak your mind, because you can take the criticism and backlash that comes out. So if you want to be a bit shady, and if you want to speak your mind, and if you think it'll be funny, or it's necessary, or it's a rebalancing and addressing things in such a way that they are balanced in a way which you see as fair and positive, then do that. Same rules still apply if you think the scales should be tipped so that the other person is completely humiliated in public, and you do that to them. What you give out, you receive back 3 times over. So just be careful working out who deserves what. because you don't know who deserves what. And giving someone this massive prize and then 2 months later finding out that they're the worst human being alive is really awkward. So it's a difficult time, and it's a great time for people who really think they know their emotional stuff. Like all the therapists out there and all the psychics and all the enlightened ones and all the ascended ones, like that lady in Glastonbury who walks around with the crown. I want her take on this. Like, how are we doing? Because this is like where the emotional pros come in. We're all gonna feel a certain sense of, whoa, I don't know what this is. How do I deal with this? And where do I file it away? And it's the people that don't flip out and the people who don't make these huge mistakes and just lose themselves in things that totally engulf them during this Venus retrograde and during this this new moon in Libra. They're the people who have more emotional strength than others. What I mean with this emotional strength stuff and progressing spiritually, like for instance, I can't sit in a room with someone where there's conflict, or you know, someone walks into a room and ignores you. That kind of energy really just, I can't take. It really is very difficult for me. Like conflict in friendship groups. Also things like when you don't like someone and you're at some sort of party and that person is around and you just really dislike them. You just really dislike them, and you have to kind of pretend to like them and all of that. It can be really difficult to start with, or even just being around people. I remember 8 years ago, I went into group therapy and it was like, I couldn't even, you know, my voice would close. Physically, I couldn't do it. I'd shake, sweat. So it's about growing spiritually. And you know, sometimes if you do want things to change, sometimes you do have to engage in a bit of conflict to get things moving and change. It can't all be airy fairy love and light and, you know, I'll pray for you. Sometimes it's like, well, actually I'm lying in the gutter bleeding. Instead of praying for me, can you call me an ambulance? That'd be a bit more helpful. Hello. So you're going to learn how to handle yourself better emotionally and intellectually. And don't get involved with anybody too deeply, or don't sign up for new business things for ages and ages. This is a period that's temporary. It's like a weather system. It's moving through from the 5th to the 16th with this new moon highlighting it and giving us a break from it a little bit, in a sense, because it pulls in Libra energy, which is overcoming the speed bump. So that sense of awkwardness is going to be a little bit, it'll be offset a little bit by this new moon. And you'll find new ways of seeing yourself. Inward, not outward. That's what I feel. Inner work, looking at your part in it, remembering your part in it, rather than pointing the finger at other people and saying they do this and they do that and they do that. That's the best thing to do to get the most out of this retrograde, I feel, and that's going to add to you being emotionally intelligent, being assertive, and being able to stand up for yourself when things are being said and done that are just unfair and unjust and not right. And you'll be able to stand up for what you believe in without crumbling from fear or the things that hold us all back. So I hope you have a wonderful time during this new moon. New moon is celebrated in lots of cultures, but in Kabbalah I think it's especially important, and it's a time of planting seeds of intention and seeds of growth. So in Libra, maybe plant the seeds of intention for a harmonious, just, and equal relationship that you want in your life that's going to support you emotionally and help you grow emotionally. That would be a good intention to set during this new moon. You know, the intention to maintain inner calm, contentment, and emotional equilibrium. So on that note, I'll leave it there. I hope you have a wonderful time during this new moon in Libra. If you would like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. In my private readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology. The astrology chart gives me a blueprint of your soul. It shows me where you've been in past lifetimes and what your life purpose is this time around, why you've come back, what your vocational aptitudes are, what's destined for you in money and love and children and living in different countries, spiritual development, health, personal growth and communication, anything at all. If you have any questions, or if you're looking to have your horoscope compared with your partner to see if you're compatible and answer any questions, I can do all of that. So if you're interested, then please just go to the website and order the reading, gregoryscott.com. Please remember to subscribe to this channel, and I will speak to you tomorrow for the daily tarot reading. Check that out. The weekly horoscopes for all signs of the zodiac, the monthly horoscope for your sun sign, and these new moon and full moon videos. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon.